A dream honeymoon in the misty hills of Meghalaya turns into a chilling nightmare. A young businessman's life is brutally cut short, but the real shock lies not in the murder itself, but in the dark betrayal that led to it. What happens when love, lies, and family pressure collide in a deadly conspiracy? This is the story of Raja Raghuvanshi, a honeymoon turned homicide. In the bustling city of Indore, Raja Raghuvanshi was a young businessman on the cusp of a new chapter in his life. At 29, Raja had built a promising career and was ready to settle down. On May 11, 2025, he married Sonam Raghuvanshi, a union that was celebrated by family and friends. But beneath the surface of this seemingly happy occasion was a complicated web of emotions and secrets that would soon unravel with devastating consequences. Sonam and Raja's marriage was far from a fairy tale. While Raja was excited about starting a life with Sonam, she was caught in a difficult situation. Sonam had been in a relationship with another man, Raj Kushwaha, for several years before the marriage. However, due to family pressure and societal expectations, she agreed to marry Raja. This was not a decision born from love but from obligation and the weight of tradition. Despite the tension, the couple planned a honeymoon near the scenic hills of Meghalaya, a place known for its lush landscapes and breathtaking waterfalls. On May 20th, just 9 days after their wedding, Raja and Sonam boarded a flight to Shillong, the capital of Meghalaya. From there, they traveled to Sora, also known as Cherrapunji, famous for some of the wettest places on Earth, and the stunning Wei Sawdong Falls. The honeymoon was supposed to be a time to bond, to forget the pressures of the past, and to look forward to a shared future. But for Sonam, the trip was a ticking time bomb. Her heart belonged to Kushwaha, and the marriage to Raja was a barrier she desperately wanted to remove. Behind closed doors, Sonam was in contact with Kushwaha, who had been waiting for the right moment to act. Kushwaha was no ordinary lover. He was the mastermind behind a dark plan that would shatter the lives of everyone involved. The plan was chilling in its precision and coldness. Raja would be eliminated, clearing the path for Sonam and Kushwaha to be together. To carry out this grim task, Sonam and Kushwaha enlisted the help of 3 contract killers: Akash Rajput, Vishal Singh Chauhan, and Anand Kurmi. These men were not strangers. They were friends and relatives of Kushwaha, trusted to carry out the job without hesitation. Remarkably, the killers were not motivated by money but by loyalty to Kushwaha and their own personal connections. The plot was set in motion days before the wedding. In fact, investigations later revealed that the murder was planned at least 11 days before Raja and Sonam tied the knot. Earlier attempts to fake Sonam's disappearance had failed, but the determination to carry out the murder only grew stronger. As the couple reached Meghalaya, the idyllic honeymoon setting became the backdrop for a sinister conspiracy. Sonam shared Raja's location with the killers, guiding them to the remote Wei Sawdong Falls area. It was a place chosen deliberately for its isolation, where the crime could be committed and concealed away from prying eyes. On May 23rd, only 3 days into the honeymoon, the plan was executed. Raja was attacked with a machete, sustaining fatal head injuries. The killers struck swiftly and brutally, leaving Raja no chance to defend himself. After the attack, his body was dumped in a deep gorge near the waterfall. Hidden among the rugged terrain, the murders sent shockwaves through the community and beyond. Raja's disappearance was initially a mystery, with family and friends desperate for answers. The serene beauty of Meghalaya's hills now masked a dark secret as the investigation began to peel back layers of deceit, betrayal, and violence. The morning of May 23, 2025, dawned bright and clear over the misty hills of Meghalaya. Way Sodong Falls, with its cascading waters and lush greenery, was a picture-perfect honeymoon destination. For Raja Raghuvanshi, it was supposed to be a day of joy, a memory to cherish forever with his new bride Sonam. But fate had other plans. On that fateful day, Raja and Sonam set out to explore the area around the falls. The couple's interactions, however, were far from the warm exchanges one might expect. Sonam's mind was elsewhere, clouded with fear and anticipation. She was fully aware that the men she had hired, acting under the direction of her lover Raj Kushwaha, were closing in. As they trekked near the falls, the three contract killers, Akash Rajput, Vishal Singh Chauhan, and Anand Kurmi, lay in wait. These men had been carefully briefed by Kushwaha, who had orchestrated the entire plot from afar. The machete that would become the weapon of death was purchased near Guwahati railway station, a calculated detail to avoid direct links back to the conspirators. Sonam's role in the murder was chillingly active. She shared Raja's exact location with the killers, guiding them to the remote spot where the attack would take place. When the killers arrived, Sonam was present, but did not intervene. Instead, she fled as the brutal assault unfolded. The attack was swift and merciless. Raja was struck repeatedly with the machete, sustaining fatal injuries to his head. Despite his efforts to defend himself, the overwhelming force of the blows left him lifeless. The killers then dragged his body to a deep gorge near the waterfall and left it there, hidden among the rocks and dense foliage. The silence that followed was deafening. Raja's disappearance sent ripples of concern through his family and friends. When he failed to return from the honeymoon as planned, alarm bells rang. The joyous occasion had turned into a nightmare. For days, local authorities and family members scoured the area, searching for any sign of Raja. The terrain around Way Sodong Falls was treacherous. Steep cliffs, dense forests, and unpredictable weather made the search difficult. It wasn't until June 2nd, 10 days after the murder, that Raja's body was finally discovered in the gorge. The discovery confirmed the worst fears. Raja had been murdered in cold blood, and the idyllic honeymoon had been a facade masking a deadly conspiracy. The police launched a full-scale investigation, piecing together the timeline and the players involved. Sonam's behavior after the murder was suspicious. She fled the scene and went into hiding. But the weight of guilt and the pressure of the investigation eventually led her to surrender to the police on June 8th in Uttar Pradesh. Her surrender marked a turning point in the case. Under interrogation, Sonam's story began to unravel. She confessed to conspiring with Raj Kushwaha, revealing the extent of their plan and the involvement of the three hired killers. Kushwaha was identified as the mastermind, the one who had handled the hitmen and orchestrated the murder from behind the scenes. The police arrested all 5 accused: Sonam, Kushwaha, Akash Rajput, Vishal Singh Chauhan, and Anand Kurmi. A special investigation team was formed to probe the case further, delving into the motives, the planning, and the possible financial angles behind the murder. The motive was clear. Sonam wanted to be with Kushwaha, and Raja stood in the way. The marriage, forced by family pressure, was a barrier she was willing to eliminate through murder. The case exposed the dark undercurrents of forced relationships, betrayal, and cold-blooded crime. As the investigation unfolded, the community grappled with the shocking reality that a honeymoon, a symbol of love and new beginnings, had turned into a scene of calculated murder. The tragedy of Raja Raghuvanshi became a grim reminder of how love, pressure, and desperation can collide with deadly consequences. The arrest of Sonam Raghuvanshi on June 8, 2025, marked a critical turning point in the investigation into Raja's murder. What had initially appeared as a tragic disappearance during a honeymoon now unfolded into a chilling tale of betrayal, conspiracy, and cold-blooded murder. But the story was far from over. The police still had to piece together the full extent of the plot and bring every conspirator to justice. From the moment Sonam surrendered, law enforcement agencies across multiple states sprang into action. A special investigation team, SIT, was formed, comprising officers from Meghalaya, Indore, and Uttar Pradesh to coordinate the complex investigation. The team's mission was clear: uncover the truth behind Raja's murder, identify all those involved, and ensure they faced the full weight of the law. Sonam's confession was the first breakthrough. Under intense questioning, she revealed the details of the conspiracy, how she and her lover, Raj Kushwaha, had planned Raja's murder well before the wedding day. She admitted to hiring 3 men, Akash Rajput, Vishal Singh Chauhan, and Anand Kurmi, to carry out the killing. The men, she explained, were close associates of Kushwaha, trusted to execute the plan without hesitation. Investigators quickly tracked down Kushwaha, who was arrested shortly after Sonam. His role as the mastermind became evident as the team uncovered communications, financial transactions, and witness testimonies linking him directly to the murder plot. Kushwaha had been the handler of the hired killers, coordinating their movements and ensuring the plan was executed flawlessly. The 3 hired killers were also apprehended within days. Their arrest closed the circle of suspects and allowed the SIT to reconstruct the timeline of events leading up to Raja's murder. Forensic evidence, including the machete used in the attack, was recovered and matched to the crime scene. Digital footprints, such as phone location data and call records, corroborated Sonam's account of sharing Raja's whereabouts with the killers. One of the most haunting aspects of the case was the calculated nature of the crime. The murder was not a crime of passion, but a cold, premeditated act. Planning had begun at least 11 days before the wedding, and even earlier attempts to fake Sonam's disappearance had been made to mislead authorities. The killers struck swiftly and brutally, leaving no room for Raja to escape his fate. The investigation also revealed the emotional and social pressures that had driven Sonam to such extreme measures. Forced into a marriage she did not want, torn between family expectations and her true love, Sonam's desperation led her down a dark path. Kushwaha's influence and manipulation played a significant role in convincing her that murder was the only way out. As the SIT compiled evidence, the case drew widespread media attention and public outrage. The story of a honeymoon turned deadly captivated the nation, sparking conversations about forced marriages, relationship violence, and the lengths people might go to pursue forbidden love. The legal proceedings began swiftly. The accused faced multiple charges, including murder, conspiracy, and abetment. The prosecution presented a strong case, supported by forensic evidence, witness statements, and the confessions of the accused. The defense, meanwhile, grappled with the overwhelming evidence against their clients. Throughout the trial, the memory of Raja Raghuvanshi remained at the forefront. A young man whose life was cut short in the most tragic circumstances. His family sought justice, hoping that the court would deliver a verdict that reflected the gravity of the crime. Beyond the courtroom, the case prompted authorities to examine how societal pressures and personal relationships can escalate into violence. It highlighted the need for better support systems for individuals trapped in forced marriages, and the importance of early intervention in cases of domestic conflict. As the investigation and trial progressed, the hope was that justice would be served, and the dark shadow cast by Raja's murder would eventually lift. The story of betrayal, love, and murder in Meghalaya became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the devastating consequences when human emotions collide with violence and crime.